inflectional classes and paradigms. I'm going to go through what inflectional classes are, how their productivity is gauged, what syncretism is, how defective paradigms are defined. I'll talk a little bit about markedness theory, which is a milestone in theoretical linguistics, and also about John Bybee's view on organization of paradigms, which is a functional view of what paradigms are. So, where did I get? Okay, so inflectional classes in English, easy. There are none, pretty much. But there are large ones. So if we look at nouns, most nouns form their plural by adding a suffix. That's it. And that suffix is a fricative that could be S or Z depending on its environment, so phonologically dependent allomorphs. So this is the large class of nouns, and as a class it is defined by the choice of a plural suffix. This is like English has pretty much very poor morphology, so this is what we get. Then there are very small restricted inflectional classes. In English that covers like 3 nouns. Those are children, brethren, and oxen. Small inflectional classes tend also to be described as irregular. Because they're small, so you cannot just remember a principle, you have to remember them. Then there is something funny going on with brother and brethren, right? And most people may even not know this form. They'll say brothers, right? But brethren is a completely legit form that you can use when you want to be in some high style in prayers, or if you want to be really funny. This is when you also use it. But this is all like the N suffix and the umlaut, or remain, or like remnants of the umlaut that we see. Once upon a time, this used to be like a valid class, while the S was kind of small. In modern English, that class has shrunk. So, if we don't know the story, those are 3 completely irregular nouns for us. They do not extend their pattern to other nouns. And some of them, like brethren, are just falling out of use. I'm not even sure that people know oxen very much. Do you know the word ox? Okay. So, but we don't talk about oxen. They're not. I mean, they're not in our household as they used to be. So, in English, it is kind of like easy to see what productivity is, and what would be easily classified as irregular, even if it like it is reflects an archaic pattern. So synchronically, this is just irregular stuff. Diachronically, this is an archaic pattern. So reflects something that was. Okay, in Swedish, some of these things you saw. We need that zoom in again. But girl forms like nouns ending in A form their plural by or. Okay, we have a suffix. Nouns that are ending in a consonant and mainly monosyllabic, one possibility they have is to take an R. There are other nouns, which I didn't put in the exam because I didn't want to confuse you. But they're also monosyllabic, but they opt for an umlaut and an A. Okay? You see where the brethren, where brethren could be like really nice here. Because generally Scandinavian languages are more conservative Germanic. So they kept stuff that other Germanic languages lost. Finally, there are nouns that seemingly don't change in the plural, but they, like what you did on the exam was to say, well, those are irregular, just like English sheep and sheep, right? They're not irregular, not in the same sense. These classes, they have, oh, is this my show going to work or not? Okay. This is like, okay, we know that something ends in A, we put this, so this is a morphophonologically conditioned allomorph. This is how the class is conditioned, and it's a large class, and it's kind of predictable. It's okay. This one, well, they are in competition, but this one is very productive, so it's also morphophonologically conditioned. You see something monosyllabic and ending in a consonant, and usually the consonant will be, like the vowel will be long. So when the consonant is not double, so bil, okay, not bil, bil, then you will have the R, and it extends. Now, this is old, like old Germanic stuff that lived on into modern Swedish. So it is a relic, but it is productive because it does extend to new words. It's not dead. And the same applies to whose and to the zero morpheme plurals. They're like English loans are coming into Swedish like droves, and this drives purists really angry. But you know, as I've been saying like all along, borrowing doesn't kill you. Other things do. So the umlaut plural extends to like not even newcomers, but things that note is like a musical note. But in spoken register, you don't say nuter, which you're perfectly like fine in saying. You say nutter. Okay. And a lot of English loans, when they come, they don't get like any of the big time productive plurals. They'll get a zero. So mail, that's like the email, and mail, and then et mail, flera mail. So no plural. So these are restricted as far as Swedish vocabulary goes. I mean, you can, as a foreigner, when you learn Swedish, you start with them. Because you can almost, they count in the hundreds, but you can learn them and know that you don't ever have to do anything with them again, and then you go to the other ones. But they are not completely dead. So that kind of mixed picture, you know, you could be restricted in one sense, that the members of this class could be set and limited. But if you are applicable to new members, then you are still productive in this sense. So productivity is a complex issue. When you gauge it, you look at how big the class is. Is it the case that you can set up a principle to, and you can see either a phonological or morphophonological conditioning for this principle, for this affixation, or can you see some application outside of the class? Okay, and both of these are important. Some things will be conditioned by ease of articulation. This is why I brought in like automatic phonological alternations. Others would be depending on word structure and marking morphology. But generally productivity will be measured by the how many members it has, and if new members of nouns, of the class of nouns come in, where do they go?